we're just essentially pitching. I mean, him and I both can say like the amount of treatments you write and the amount of pitches, like you get maybe 10%, at least for me. Like, and that sounds low, but that's kind of how it is with a lot of people.
And
yeah,
a treatment
I think that's true for everyone, for all directors.
Yeah.
They write so many treatments.
Which treatments, for anyone listening, that's a storyboard.
It's
right.
It's a
design script.
It's like a pitch deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A
Not
script
medical.
with images.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then what happens is, so from that point, if you get awarded the video, where I come in as a producer, the directors have a bunch of producers that they work with. Usually they have one or two that they work with a lot, and then they hit up the producer, and they're like, yo, this is the treatment, here's the budget, here's the shoot date. You have to do a budget breakdown and just list out everything, and then you send that off to the label, or if it's just the artist, and you send it off to the artist, and then you get that approved. Once that's approved and there's money in the bank, hopefully, then that's when like the real work starts. I mean, some of the work starts before the budget, depending on how quickly the shoot date's coming up, but for the most part, you want to wait until the money's actually like the first,
How do
invoice has been
you
paid.
base a treatment of like, do you know somewhat of what the budget is, or are you putting together like 3 different options for treatment of like, here's a $10,000 option, here's a $30,000.
I'm actually interested to hear this part because I get treatments and budgets a lot from directors where they write a treatment that's a lot more money than the budget that they know they have available.
Like, maybe 70% of the treatments I write are over the budget that I'm told, but we usually go to the label with, I mean, that being in mind, and you'd rather the label cut you down a little bit than, so it's like, yeah, this budget's 50,000, but this idea looks like a 75. They might just be like, how can we get it down to 50? We cut out a few scenes or cut out, whatever it is. I mean, that's one way.
Yeah.
What's the creative process like though when you're writing treatments? What do you do?
I mean, that's different for everyone.
Do you go sit in the woods?
I mean, I've written an idea in a lazy boy inside of Costco. I mean, I don't know. It just depends.
I would wish you had a photo of that.
I feel like, I mean, for me at least, inspiration's fleeting, and sometimes like it, you are on the scene with like pressure, and you're like, I have 24 hours to come up with an idea that hit me up last night. At that point, if I have to force it, and I'm like going outside, going on a hike with like some headphones on. But I mean, most of the time, if I have some time, I kind of just let it come naturally. Like, I mean, you said it's like, lazy boy in a Costco.
Kinda, yeah. I heard this one guy talk about how he like got his ideas. Like, he's like, I get most of my ideas by like riding my bike around the neighborhood. And I was like, that's kind of funny. Like, but that's not the case for me. Like, it could be on a bike around a neighborhood, or it could just be like, sometimes it comes right away. Sometimes it doesn't come ever. I mean, it just depends. Like, yeah, I think you're kind of right. It just kind of comes naturally. And if it doesn't, I don't usually try to force it. If you force it, you could be into kind of a bad situation.